Houston, we have a problem. The the near side fog light on the 200-pound Safrane is no longer working. Now, I haven't tried the tried and tested hit it as hard as you can with your fist to see if it comes on, but I'm assuming the bulb's gone. By the way, if you can hear a helicopter in the background, it's probably Noel Tidybeard or Annika Bottom in the area doing treasure hunts or surprising kids in a hospital. Can't quite work it out. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. You see that? It's just coming out of the trees now. No, it ducked. Anyway, yeah, so Noel Tidybeard's on his way to the pub for lunch. So yeah, we're going to try, well, kind of change of plan. I had ordered some yellow fog light bulbs, or yellow bulbs, for the units. So I thought, well, it's about time she had yellow bulbs. But I ordered them, and then an hour later I was told that they're no longer in stock, which is a shame, because they were from a reputable supplier and they were good make. So I've been refunded on those. And I've been looking at other yellow bulbs on eBay and Amazon, and the results a bit hit and miss. Some people have reported they get very hot very quickly, leading to melted lenses, and I can't really risk that. So we're going to go back to the original plan, which is the amber light. And I love the packaging on the amber light. If I could make a Granville, if you want to make a poster out of that amber light design, I would quite happily pay good money for it. Well, I'd pay a couple of quid for it. I've had mixed results with this in the past. I did have it on the Zara, and the results look pretty poor. But on the Laguna, it looks really good. I think it's the smaller the lens, the better the results. And on the Zara, I've gone back to yellow bulbs, and they've been working quite well. So we're going to try this. But before we do that, I have got some other bulbs to put in. I've got some old ones. Hopefully they work. They've been in the garage for about 2 or 3 years. But obviously it needs a clean up. And I haven't seen the results on the 406. I figured it was probably an opportunity to clean these up at the same time, because that's pretty grim. That one's not so bad, but I reckon we can improve that. And the thing to remember about these is that they're completely different to the lenses on the pre-facelift Safrane, which I'll show you now. So, Exhibit A, pre-facelift Safrane fog lights, and I think they look. Do they look better? I don't know. You can make it your own mind. But good news, a chap called Mike Bennett, who I'll come on to again in a minute, has got a Safrane badge that he's going to not lend to me. He's going to give it to me, which obviously, as we know, is the only thing that's missing on this beer money Safrane. Once she's got the badge in situ, she'll be ready to go, he says, lying through his teeth. And while we're here, there's the yellow fog lights on Laguna, and I think they look brilliant, especially when you've got the Xenons on. They look superb. Laguna's not working at the moment. Laguna is working. There's a couple of problems with her. But hey, she's the £100 Laguna. And no, it wasn't the one I spotted in Waitrose on Friday. To anyone who spotted my photo on Instagram, more's the pity. So these are the bulbs. I have to confess, I think I took these off another car to upgrade them. So I've no idea if they're working. I think I just upgraded it as opposed to replaced ones that were broken. Although they don't look. Well, the bulbs look good, so hopefully they'll work. And I'm going to consult the manual in terms of how to remove the little panel on the left-hand side to get to the bulbs themselves. And I'm going to do a rescue act on a worm. Chris Packham will be impressed because I'm going to rescue that bulb. Bulb? Worm. God, this is a rubbish YouTube channel. Anyway, on with the show, as Freddie Mercury said. Well, this was going to be a nice time lapse of me changing the fog lights on the 200 pounds of Safrane, but as is normal for the fleet, not everything's gone quite according to plan. You can see I've got everything out, which is the positive side of it. The difficult thing was this took an age to get out because the little sort of lever at the bottom, if for want of a better word, it was already sort of half off. It wasn't levering. It was just kind of hanging on by a very small piece of plastic, and it's now come off in my hand actually just before I started filming. So now I've got the fun of trying to put that back in. Well, certainly getting it out again at the end is going to be putting it in a position where it can look good, but also without fixing it too hard, so when we have to change the bulbs again, it's not too tricky. And I'm annoyed because I scratched the bumper trying to get it off, which is a real pain. And I was really trying to be delicate because these are going to be obsolete. So trying to find another one of these will be a difficult thing. And I think Renault are having a funny 5 minutes because I don't see why they couldn't have just had a smaller light unit rather than have the little planking bit at the end. Bit bizarre. But the good news is I can now get that off to clean it. So simple job, turned out to be a bit of a tricky job. That is one very hot dog. Look at you. Anyway, look, I think this actually might be one of the first times I've actually done a short video because look, yellow fog lights on the £200 Safrane for the first time. And it looks good. I mean, it looks great, doesn't it? I mean, that's the finishing touch on an already superb car. Let's do the obvious thing and turn her on, as it were, so you can see the full glory. Obviously 2 working lights now, which is a bonus. But look at that. I mean, that's now French auto route ready, isn't it? You can almost smell the cigarettes from here. Oh, great. But basically what's happening now is the backs of the dog is barking at a buzzard. No, tell a lie, this one is a heron. It's normally a buzzard, a Barnabas as we call the buzzard around here, but that was a heron. So apologies if Baxter barks again during this video, but hey, it's better than my ramblings. What can I tell you about the fog lights? I'm going to leave them on while I talk to you. The manual was only half right, because you do indeed have to remove this section first. But it's kind of misleading because it says to sort of knock it to the left or pull it to the left. But actually it's kind of a more outward motion, slightly to the left, because it's on 3 prongs, 1, 2, 3. So it sort of slots into there. And there's a little bracket which holds the actual fog light into place. So you screw and the bracket sits between here and here, and then you screw the bracket in place, which locks that in place, and then you slide this on afterwards. Obviously this hasn't got the little latch down the bottom anymore, but it seems secure. This side's fully working. That one's absolutely fine. Do you know the nice thing about this is that before with the fog lights on, this was just like a reflector. So you had the lights on and then that kind of weird reflector on the right hand side. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's slightly better now. Almost looks like the entire, I was going to say almost like the entire light's illuminated, but it's not quite that effect. It looks better in reality than it does on the camera, to be honest. I do think it's a bit odd why when they facelifted the Safrane that they came up with an idea that meant that they had to put a kind of reflector or a kind of secondary bit in because the fog light was too small. Surely they would have designed a bumper to fit that fog light or found a fog light that fitted this bumper. What do you reckon? Was that a production error? It's just a bit weird because all the other fog lights on my fleet fit. They don't have to have a reflector. If anyone knows the reason why, please tell me because I'm curious. Any tips for putting this on? Yes, I've done a little time lapse which I think is about 30 seconds long, so I'm going to talk for 30 seconds and hope it works. The key thing is it dries pretty quickly and it goes sticky very quickly, so you almost get one chance to put it on and one chance only. I would put a lot on the brush and then kind of do your kind of standard painting a wall routine, sort of up and down. And if you've got fog light with lines like I have, going up and down, just follow the lines. And that should work a treat. Like I say, you get one chance to put it on. Do it out of direct sunlight because it dries really quickly. And don't be fooled into thinking that actually it's not going on well. It's kind of a weird consistency. Look, it's almost yellow in bits and orange in others. Sorry, the focusing's gone. It's too much to focus on the fog lights too much, and I can hardly blame it really. But yeah, it's kind of a weird consistency. It's yellow, orange, so it doesn't go on perfectly, but you just have to trust it. Don't aim for perfection because you won't get it. Because if I look close up on these, it's far from perfect. But I know, I'm happy. What else can I tell you about the Safrane to sort of make up the time? Actually, it's important to tell you what's going on with the Safrane because, let me just show you, let me just do something. Big news. Well, it's not big news. It's news. The reversing lights are working. Thanks to Exporn Garage. She's now got wiring that works at the back. You'll have to take my word for it, but the rear high level brake light is working. And what they did, they kind of rewired the back here and pushed all the wire inside the roof, as it were. Yeah, they've pushed everything into the inside, so it shouldn't be affected anymore. So that's good. So now that's one MOT failure sorted. On the way there, I cuddled with Jack and we opened a bottle of cider. And also, I tried the horn, weirdly. And, well, that kind of sums it up. The horn wasn't working yesterday, and it wasn't working before I started this video. Oh, and there you go. So the horn isn't working. It stopped working on the way to X1 garage. So they put a new horn in, and it was working perfectly. Now it only works when it wants to. So for the MOT looming in a month, before the festival in Exceptional, I need to get that fixed. The other thing I need to fix, and I don't know if I mentioned Mr. Mike Bennett or Michael Bennett beforehand, but he's a guy like me with 2 Safranes, and a new member of Club PetrolBlog. So welcome to the club, Mr. Bennett. And I must have mentioned the fuel tank strap in a previous video. I don't remember doing it, but we were talking about Safranes, as you do, and he said you can still get fuel tank straps from Renault. And I don't know if you can see. Yes, you can see. My fuel tank strap is rusty as hell, so I've had to sort of hold it up with cable ties, which is, bodgers of the world will relate to that. So that's not great. And he's actually going to give me a brand new, I think it's a brand new part, unused part, fuel tank strap for the Safrane. I'm going to be picking it up on the 20th of June, I think, because he lives in Devon, which is great. So there's 4 Safranes at least in Devon. I reckon that makes Devon the Safrane capital of Europe, probably. I don't think it's a particularly fun job. I think it's one of those jobs you're going to have to sort of put it on ramps and hope that the screws aren't as rusty as they were on the Peugeot. What that does mean is if that's gone rusty, then I need to kind of pay close attention to underneath, because while the Safrane is good on top and bloody lovely on top, you can just see surface rust coming through, and I really want to get on top of that before it becomes a big issue. And also with the festival and Exceptional turning up, she's not old enough to go into the concourse, and she's nowhere near good enough to go into concourse, but she will be in the car park. So I would say come and say hi, but you don't really want to meet a really boring man with a black Safrane, so I would just say go and find somebody else more interesting to go and talk to. Do you mind if I do a quick plug? Right, that's it. That's it, I think, on the Safrane. That is quickly what do you reckon, 10-minute video? Oh, I can just see it says 8 minutes, so it's going to be about a 15-minute video, as always. Oh, one other thing I must say. She's now running new Falcon tyres. Falcon Sinceras, which means, I think, they're sincerely great tyres. I got these, well, it's actually good news on these. So I got a brand new set of 4 Falcon tyres. I've been on about a month now, maybe a bit longer. And the news for Club PetrolBlog members is we can now get discounts of tyres and brakes at Pro Tyre. So I'll be dropping an email to all the Club PetrolBlog members over the next day or so of how you can claim your discount. All Club PetrolBlog members are now going to have a membership number, and news on the renewal at the end of July coming up soon. So good tyres. I mean, it's made a huge difference. I mean, a lot of it is the fact that the old tyres are old and mismatched and cheap. So immediate results. She's smoother, she's more comfortable, not necessarily quieter, but I'll let you know in due course how good they are. What this also means is the red Safrane is now wearing the black Safrane's old tyres. So she's now got tyres that she can move about on, which makes things a lot easier. So the old tyres, the fat as pancake tyres, are now being consigned to the great tyre scrapyard in the sky. I think that's it. I think I've waffled on far too long. Another quick plug. That was on purely for the Haynes weekend, or Breakfast Club last weekend. So yeah, yellow fogs. Good news. Thank you for watching. Stay safe.